What's up? Welcome back to another market recap. Today is September 2nd, 2025. So I had no trades last night. The two trades I was primarily watching was this pound Swiss and euro pound. And they didn't really play out. So some sort of news, I think, came in and just kind of price exploded. I'm not entirely sure what it was. I know when I checked like the news calendar, I didn't really see anything like high impact. So some kind of like headline had to come out that probably wasn't planned, I imagine. But if we go back in time here a little bit, move our pivots. Euro pound did trigger an alert for me. So I was sitting here watching it at roughly this where I drew in these trend lines. So I originally drew in this first trend line. We'll go ahead and delete the second one, it was kind of irrelevant. But this first trend line, and I was contemplating entering on a break of it. Granted, I was wanting that break to happen a little bit higher. I wanted a price to push a little bit more into this kind of zone before it broke. But the thing that sketched me out a little bit about the trade at this point, and hence why I was waiting for just a little bit more development, a little bit more of a, rather than like an aggressive style entry where price just comes up, you draw a trend line in, and as soon as it breaks that trend line, you enter. I was looking for more so some deceleration, so like a micro time frame, ascending triangle or a wedge or a double top or something like that to enter the trade. And I didn't really get what I was looking for. And I was waiting for that additional development just due to, like, when I originally made the watch list, I guess it'd be easier on the 10-minute time frame. Price was just pulling back, right? So you just kind of have a clean pullback, and I'm waiting for this clean pullback to get to the pivot and then get a trend reversal, take a short. Well, we got a little bit of a pullback, but not to value, and then price kind of pushed down. So now I have this potential higher low right here, which sketches me out a little bit. So for me to then trade into this potential new higher low when price is pushed up from there, I need to see some pretty credible micro time frame trend reversals, like the patterns I described. And while I was waiting for that to occur, like on a 2-minute time frame, like it's holding the 2-minute EMA. So I'm seeing this basically bounce once. I'm watching this second bounce here, and then price just kind of explodes. So, I mean, I think you could have entered this potentially, and it would have been off the first break of that trend line if you wanted to be aggressive. It did fit for the most part. You still had protection. It's just the target didn't really line up with S1 is what I prefer it to, but it was an option. But it wasn't enough deceleration for me in the moment to take the trade. And while I was waiting for that deceleration, price just pretty much exploded and went to the moon, pretty much invalidating the whole trade for me. As price basically broke down aggressively, then it triggered the alert I had set for pound Swiss. But at that point, I'm watching price just accelerate here, and it blows past all levels. So again, invalidates the trade, invalidates the theory I had with it. Pound yen was the only one, I'm pretty sure, of these four. Yeah. Pound yen was the only one that somewhat played out. If you would have drawn your fib levels from this kind of 1 hour low, then it technically kind of tapped 0.382 and then pushed. Granted, I would have preferred the fib level to be drawn from the 4 hour low, which it never really would have got back to value before it pushed. The interesting thing, and what I was watching at the same time I was watching that euro yen, was there was this kind of level that have been previously respected here on your daily time frame, your 4 hour, your 1 hour, right? Like multiple kind of extreme high touches, like recent extreme highs. And it was interesting. And as I'm sitting here looking at it, kind of analyzing it, but also watching Euro Pound at the same time, preferring to enter Euro Pound, this is a counter trend bias to Euro Pound. So this trade ended up playing out pretty beautifully though. If I was focused more on it, probably been a nicer trade to take. You had some good 30-second deceleration here. Like you could probably draw in a trend line here. You can move this level up a little bit, right? So you have an ascending triangle, micro time frame ascending triangle, break of it. You can enter on the break of that with a stop above the highs. And yeah. So essentially the deceleration of price action here on the 30-second time frame is what I was looking for on Euro Pound, and we didn't really get it. Like I was looking for price to kind of give me this double, like a double bottom, a wedge of price, and then a break to the direction I'm interested in trading to enter the trade. So yeah, this had the potential to be nice, but I didn't really see it until after that entry had kind of occurred, like in this breakdown. As I'm watching Euro Pound break up, I was aware that it was pound yen was sitting at these kind of levels, but I didn't pay super attention to it. And then I saw this entry right after I started watching Euro Pound break out, and I was like, oh dang, I kind of missed that. So if I was a little bit more prepared, I think this was a valid trade. And then Aussie CAD, I was interested in taking a trade from this level. Never really pulled back to that level. The kind of extreme highs-ish. Like technically you could have pushed a little higher for the extremes, recent extremes. But it did, the bias overall did play out for I think both of these, except for EuroCAD. EuroCAD is more so looking for a push upwards, but it kind of broke down when all the pounds broke down. And then Swiss Huff. I technically, like from a spread perspective, could trade this pair. What I came to find out. Somewhat. It has a wide spread. It's tradable. It's just has a spread larger than I would like. So, but when all the pounds kind of blew up, I wrote this one off too. It's pretty much like your Euro, Swiss, pound, they're all kind of linked. They all just kind of went crazy over something. I'm still not sure what that something is, but ultimately it doesn't really matter. I trade technicals at the end of the day. So that was my session. So I'm gonna go build a watch list now for the upcoming session, and I'll see you guys here in a minute. All right, we're back. So I have two main groups. I have a pound group and a dollar group. I left this dollar group flagged so we could talk about it, but I don't foresee myself taking a trade out of it. But we'll start with this pound group. Still a lot of like, honestly, crappy price action going on in the market. It's not a lot of clean stuff. The two cleanest trades I was really able to find is this pound dollar, this pound Singapore. Both very similar trades from a price action perspective. I'm just playing that breakdown essentially from last night still, but they both need some pretty decent sized pullbacks to value. And the EMAs on like your 1 hour time frame, 4 hour time frame don't really line up for protection. That's what I don't like about them. What I do like is like the daily time frame wise in this pound dollar, you have this strong bearish engulfing candle breakdown. It's already going to be a lower low from the previous low here. So it's a lower low on your 4 hours as well, and of course on your 1 hour and your 10 minutes. So every single time frame, it's a lower low. You do have this kind of trend drawn in here, clean break of it, strong break, coming back for a retest, and then playing a continuation. You have plenty of room on your daily time frame to move to like the recent lows or daily 200. So there's not much in the way of the target. So yeah, the main issue with this trade is just like it needs a pretty deep pullback, like preferably probably like an entry off of 0.5 rather than 0.38 fib. But we'll see. This could take hours to pull back as well and decelerate to give an entry. And by that time, the EMAs may move into a spot that's more acceptable. I mean, these could take hours, and therefore the 50 EMA will probably be down between 0.5 and 0.32 or be at least 2.5 fib. So we'd still be protected. It's just a 4-hour 50 I'm not too sure about. You have a little bit better protection with this pound Singapore, but the daily is not as nice, right? So there's pros and cons to both. I think they're the two nicer trades that I was able to find for the upcoming session. So I'll entertain them and see what happens. And then I have this pound yen on secondary. Still similar concept. 1 hour wise, good strong break coming back for a retest. So wave 3 CBO. But yeah, there's not a ton of room on your daily time frame to move to the 50, but it is enough room for us to take a trade. But the EMAs in your 4 hour time frame, you're pretty much trading into them. So that's a downside. So it's just not as nice as these other 2 pound pairs, but I think it's worth a watch. And then pound Kiwi, not really looking to take this on a pullback play, but more so if like price just continues pushing from here and gets to these kind of recent daily highs, right? That's, resistance, support. Now potentially will act as support again. That lines up with the 4 hour 200 and somewhat with your daily 50 and S1. It's just interesting. So I want to see how price kind of reacts to this level, see if we get some good deceleration, and then I would entertain a trade long off that level. So for the dollar pairs, though, they're all kind of weird. And what I mean by that, like they had these good breaks, but they kind of pulled back midday and have already retested and are in the process of their follow through. So it seems like the trades have really already occurred on them. Like daily time frame wise, they look like they're ready for reversals and breakouts on a daily time frame. So that's why I kind of have them flagged to watch them, because I think there's still potential to take these trades with that daily bias in mind to go long. It's just, I think the entry already occurred during New York today. I wasn't really in front of the charts today and during New York. So since these weren't on my previous watch list, so I wasn't really paying attention to these pairs. If I would have done a scan at like 8 o'clock my time or so, I probably could have got into one of these. They would have been a lot nicer during New York in the previous session rather than trying to trade them now. But they're interesting. So more so they're just interesting because of the daily time frame. Right? Like on this, talk about this dollar huff and for weeks, but you have this multiple touch, very strong bottom at this point. It just keeps pushing off of it. So eventually we should get a pretty nice daily IBO if we get a full-on breakout. I don't know if it's going to be right now from this level, but it looks pretty good from like a swing trade perspective. So yeah, I likely won't take a trade on either of these three, dollar PLN, dollar huff, dollar Swiss. But dollar NOK has had kind of a breakup, but then you draw on this trend line here and it's back below it, which I don't love. But it's still considered an IBO, and it hasn't really had a follow through yet. So maybe you could justify an entry, but that entry would have to be about right now. And from a spread perspective, this pair won't calm down for me for a while. So that's pretty much out of the question. As well as I really don't feel like trading into that trend line. And so then the only other dollar pair is this Kiwi dollar, which is interesting from a perspective of like a breakdown, retest, play a wave 3 CBO. Your daily time frame it's trending, but it's multiple waves in at this point. And I don't really like to trade anything that's beyond wave 5. And this would be a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This would be playing like a wave 7. I mean, it has potential. You have a decent, rejection of your daily 5,200 area, a nice bearish candle, breakdown. But I could also just see it pushing up from here at the same time. So it's an option, but it's ugly, essentially. And so, yeah, they're interesting, and there might be more here, but realistically, knowing myself, I'm just really going to aim towards probably one of these pound pairs and then see what happens. Also, this Euro Mexican flagged daily time frame. It's whatever. Kind of a rejection of daily 50, but it is still kind of moving sideways. More so, it's just the 4 hour and 1 hour breakdown. So lower lows on your 4 hour and your 1 hour, coming back for a retest and a follow through. Pretty sure I can trade this pair from a spread perspective, but it won't be until probably close to London, until the spread calms down. So we'll see. But I think it's an option. And then Kiwi yen, I'm watching just to see what happens if price continues to push up to R1, which lines up with your daily 200, daily 50 area, and then potentially taking a trade short from there, depending if we get some nice deceleration and a good pattern. So again, kind of secondary trade with Euro Mexican, but these two are primarily fly. Just give me some additional options. Probably just going to delete most of these dollar pairs from the watch and then focus primarily on these pounds. Then in development watch, I'm still waiting to see what happens here with Euro Kiwi, Euro Aussie. Talked about these pairs for a few days now. And then Aussie Singapore. Really, it kind of got the breakdown I was waiting for yesterday, but it just shot right to the target. And it didn't continue past that to give like a complete breakout to be able to play like a CBO. So yeah, I think this trade's probably gone at this point. And then Aussie Kiwi, we're still waiting to see if price will break down from here, and primarily looking for like a CBO on your 1 hour, IBO on the 4 hour, or if price continues to push and then hit the recent highs. Right now, it's just the level that's been touched multiple times, or if it pushes all the way to the top of the wicks at the extreme highs. Aussie yen, similar to Kiwi yen, it's just not as nice of a level. So just kind of have it on development watch, just wait to trade a breakdown. And then Euro yen, similar to these other yens, just waiting to see what happens at these kind of in this area highs, and again, just waiting for a breakdown. So anyways, that's all I got, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. See ya.